Good day everyone, my name is Clydel Gayapa and today me and my group, the Group 7, will going to discuss about the lesson design and strategies in teaching writing. Teaching writing. For you, what is writing? Well, for me, writing is my first love. But for some other people, writing is a way to convey their thoughts, their ideas, their opinions. Ah, and as future teachers, we are tasked to teach writing to our students. Teaching writing requires careful planning because how can you teach your students writing when you as a teacher does not plan it carefully at first? So you have to decide what kind of strategies you are going to use to teach writing to your students. What kind of writing activities you are going to give to your students in order for them to develop their writing skills. Whether the use of the product or process approach. So we have a lot of approaches and the reporters today are going to discuss it one by one. Or it could also be a combination of these approaches. We need to design our writing instruction judiciously as future teachers. According to Kroll lists the essential task of our writing teacher that the teacher could use when teaching writing to students. These are the following: designing or implementing a syllabus. When we say syllabus, this is your planning on how you are going to teach writing to your students, or how are you going to use the strategies in teaching writing to your students in order to develop their writing skills. Planning the individual class session. You are going to plan class session. What kind of activity will you going to give? What kind of activities that you are going to give to your students? Providing opportunities for writing, such as essay writing, reflection papers, any other. We need to consider the following factors. Letter A, a feasible scope of the writing task. When we say feasible scope of a writing task, it is a practical task that will help your students to develop their writing. Letter B, a writing task that promotes academic integrity. When we say academic integrity, it should have a good impact towards their academic pursuits. Letter C, the suitable scaffold for the given task. So of course, we need to consider the suitable scaffold. What kind of scaffolds are we going to use as future teachers to help our students develop their writing skills? What kind of activities should we give to the students, knowing that there are students, right, some are fast learners, some are not fast learners. Okay, letter D, a specified topic, genre, and purpose. We should consider the specified topic, genre, and purpose when teaching writing. Of course, we as future teachers should not only present a writing activity that kanang ganahan lang nato nga mabuhaton sa ato ang mga estudyante. Because as future teachers, we should consider our learning objectives. It should be aligned to our learning objectives. Dili lang kay basta-basta lang siya. Dapat naay alignment sa imuhang teaching objectives. A clear rubric of evaluation. Of course, if magpasulat ka sa imong mga estudyante, if you're going to teach writing to your students, you are going to present a clear rubric of evaluation. Because, para if mag-check na ka sa ilahang mga ipangsulat, their essays, reflection papers, it will be easier for you to determine asa sila dapat nagkulang or asa dapat murag kinahanglan pa nila i-improve ilahang writings. A reasonable set of deadlines. Of course, when magpasulat kasi mong mga ibang mga students, if magpasgama kag essay, magpagama kag reflection paper, critic paper, you need to set a deadline. No? So, like for example, in your class, napabuhat kag essay sa imong mga students, and then, 500 words for 2 minutes? No. So, dili po siya, it's not suitable for that kind of writing activity. So, like for another example is 1,000 words for 5 minutes. Grabe. Magdili kaya sa ibang mga estudyante. So, dapat imong deadline po is kana pong accurate siya nga mabuhat sa ibang mga estudyante. Kaya if 500 words for 2 minutes lang, I don't think magkadimao ang sinulatan sa mga estudyante, no? Dili na mabuo ang thought, dili na kayo ma-convey ang message. And how will they develop if ingana imong deadlines? Another part in the planning and implementation of the writing syllabus is the inculcation of learning outcomes or learning objectives. Like what I've said kanina, nga if magpabuhat gani kag mga writing activities to your students, then you should consider if it aligns to your learning objectives. Next, we have designing the lesson for writing. Number 1, writing instruction for beginners. Teaching L2 writing for beginners requires understanding the context of the learners. Siyempre, no? When we say writing instruction for beginners, mao ba ni silang mga college students? No. So, when we say beginners in writing, these are katong mga bata nga dili pa kabalong masulat or wala pa kaya experience of writing. Or katupang mga mag-trace pa, or katong dili pa gani ka guro kabalo muhawid og lapis. So they are the beginners. Then it is important for teachers na when we are going to design a writing instruction for beginners, unsa man imong buhaton, magpa-essay ba kadayon sa isa ka bata nga dili pa gani kabalo kaayo musulat muhawid og lapis? Of course, no. So teaching L2 writing for beginners requires understanding the context of the learners. When you are going to teach your students who is a beginner in writing, itong bata, mga bata, di ba? Like, for example, mga preschool, kinder, di ba? They are the beginners in writing. So, kung gitudlogin na sa maestra, dili magpasulat og mga essay, no? Magpasulat og katong trace. And the teachers teach them first how to write letters before they write paragraphs or sentences. So, for instance, we need to know if they already have the skills sets like producing the linguistic codes, writing conventions, and writing mechanics. Dapat ato asang we should understand first or ato siyang i-cater if ang imong bang estudyante is na ba siya experience sa pagsulat-sulat, no? And how are you going to do that? Of course, you are going to test it as teacher. And in order for you to know if na ba sila set of skills ani ba sila imong bata kadili pa kabalo mo sulat, di pa kabalo mo hawid og lapis, and di pa gani kabalo mo trace og mga letters. So dira ani mo mahibalaan if what kind of learning or learning activities na imong ihatag sa imong estudyante. Next, Presley, Mohan, Fingeret, Raffet, and Raphael Bogart, 2007, offer the following characteristics of an effective elementary literacy classroom. Okay. Letter A, engaging activities. Beginners who have to learn letter recognition and letter discrimination can trace letters, write on the air, or use their body movements to describe a letter or spell a word. Mga beginners ko nakaila na sa mga letters or kabalo na sila mo naka-recognize sila letters balik kani letter A kani B for boy, so it will be easier for them daw para magsulat kay if makabalo na ka makabalo na ka ani nga letter, then it is easier for you to write it down kontra sa wag gani ka kaila unsay letter A wag ka kaila unsay letter B, then it's harder for you to write paka manang una ang basa, di ba? Usa, sulat. These beginners nga kabalo na makaila nag letters, kabalo na unsay sound, it will be easier for them to write letters in the air. Kaya ito magana. Letter A. Letter C for Clydel. Teaching spelling, according to Sclagle, 2007, asserted that spelling is not just a rote memory process. Dili lang daw siya memory process. It is best taught along with vocabulary activity, developmental instruction. According to Tompkins, 2008, Presley et al., 2007, Wolfong, 2015, have strongly recommended the use of process approach even at the earliest stage in the teaching of writing. They have proven that the draft revise final output is less effective compared to the plan, draft revise, rewriting process of writing. Ana sila nga draft revise final output is less effective. So dili daw kay siya effective if ingana ang imong strategy nga when it comes to writing. So they prefer the plan, draft, revise, rewrite process of writing. So, mo ni siya ang plan. So, naay plano daan usa ka magbuhat og draft. Dili lang kay magsulat lang ka diretso, magsulat lang ka draft diretso without planning. So, it should include planning at first. So, dapat magplano ka before writing your draft and then revise na nimo and then final na dayon. Rewrite process of writing. Letter C, conducive environment. Experts consider it as a serious offense to require learners to write on topics without proper context. As teachers of writing, it is best to incite students to write by providing not only the motivation but also the scaffolds to write effectively. When you are requiring your learners or your students to write without proper context, then it is serious offense. No? Wala ka provide of proper context kung about sa asa ang ilang ipasulat or about unsa ilang dapat sulaton, especially sa mga beginners. No, walay proper context, maglibog ang bata, masamot og di kabalo ang bata. So kinahanglan as teachers of writing, it is best to incite students, imong providean imong students not just motivation to write, but also the scaffolds, ways, your strategies to write effectively. Unsaon nila pag-write effectively? How are they going to present or to write down their ideas effectively?
Writing instruction for intermediate and advanced learners. So writing teachers of intermediate and advanced learners must help students to understand the relevance of writing, not only influencing the target language, but also in learning successful other subjects. So it means that writing teachers should be effective not only in the target language, but also in learning successful other subject or even to their future ila pa nang magamit. Knowing that writing is both a social act and a developmental cognitive task. So why writing is both a social act? Because through writing, it is a way to communicate with others, conveying thoughts and ideas or sharing information to an audience. It is a developmental cognitive task because through writing, it can helps to develop student critical thinking and the skills of writing. So, teachers can raise the student awareness of different writing tasks they have to handle in academic settings such as essays, research papers, or mga journals, and etc. Newell, Cookes, and Buster, 2007, they asserted the importance of writing as a tool of learning, so that teachers have to engage the learners in the writing tasks commonly required in other disciplines. So these are include. So the first one is note taking, a skill in extracting and recording relevant information from different types of text for future use. So you're going to encourage your students to extract or mag-record the relevant information or mga important details from the reading materials. So the second one is reporting, an ability to recount and write the events that transpired. For instance, in laboratory experiment, so let the students write the events and recount while doing or after the laboratory experiment. They are go let the students to report kung sinhitabo silang laboratory experiment o sa field trip ba or sa group activity. Kaning group activity is kasagaran na nato na siyang nahimo, di ba? So the third one is summarizing, a skill in looking for patterns across a range of events and ideas and presenting that information most concisely. So let the students to summarize, looking for kanang range of events and ideas, kaya ron nga ma-present nila ang information most concisely, briefly, and clearly. Then, the fourth one is analyzing, an ability to break down ideas. So let the students break down ideas, note details, and determine the relationship and causality. So let the student to analyze kanang ilang the reading text or the reading materials kaya mas masabtan nila ang ilang gibasa. The fifth one is journal writing, often a means for self-expression and reflection. So let the students to express themselves or reflection through writing. So muna siya kitawag og journal writing. Then the last one is creative writing. So it is a literary writing such as short stories and poetry that provides personal and imaginative ways of exploring ideas and experiences. So katong mga students nga hilig kayo sila nga magsulat og mga short stories, mga poetry or poems ba or mga songs na from their imaginative ways. Echoing this idea of contextual and meaningful writing tasks for the learners. Wellphone 2015 narrowed this task into 3 writing genres that a teacher can use as a guide in organizing writing lessons. These genres are narrative, or recount factual events or tells a fictional story, and informative, revolve factual information, and argumentative, or appeals to a reason or emotion. So whether the writing instruction is task or genre-based, we need to motivate our learners to write and help them write effectively. So we could use the following instructional tips. So the first one is reading-writing connection. Reading can help provide context and content for writing. So we can encourage our learners to write effectively by providing model text to read and emulate our reading materials that you can analyze, react, or reflect on. So we're going to provide mga reading materials that they can connect sa ilang gibasa. Then, so the first one is reading-writing connection. Reading can help provide context and content for writing. So we can encourage our learners to write effectively by providing model text to read and emulate our reading materials that they can analyze, react, or reflect on. So we can provide mga reading materials that they can connect sa ilang gibasa, especially kanang mga situational ng mga balasahon or mga real life situation. So the second one is strategy instruction. Strategy, as defined by Graham et al. 2007, refers to the course of action for accomplishing a specific objectives. So this refers one to have a clear purpose or goal, the procedural knowledge in accomplishing the task, and the will to embark in the designated course of action and the effort to see it through. So you're going to instruct the students to set a clear purpose or goal para ma-accomplish nila ang task nga imong gihatag, and then to encourage them nga kanang mag-efforts kay unsa nila pagkuha ang task perfectly if dili sila mag-effort or wala sila klaro nga geset nga goals or purpose. Teaching students strategies in each stage of the writing process would allow learners to reflect on their writing habits and idiosyncrasies as writers to employ the process involved in writing independently. Strategy instruction involves teaching students specific methods and approaches to accomplish the task. Some scaffold and template that prove to be helpful in writing for learning include the REFT or role, audience, format, topic, model of Holson and Santa 1985 as cited in Jacobson, Johnson, and Locke 2011, and the 5-paragraph essay, Langan 2008, Wilfong 2015, and Tompkins 2018, and the CREW, or Claim, Reason, Evidence, Warrant for Argumentative Writing, so Wilfong 2015. The templates and scaffolds for creative writing include the Cinquain, Acrostics, Less Poems, Big Book Project, and others. So you can see these templates further explained at the end of this lesson. So the third one we have peer or collaborative writing. So according to Jagielski 2018, he asserted that writing is a social activity because writers often have audience in mind and other readers who respond to or assess their written outputs. So ang writers, nadyo na siya, readers, para mo respond or audience nga mo mag-assess sa iyang written outputs like mo iyang pakit-on or sa iyang peers ba kay mo iyang pangutanon kung or iyang ipakita dito if nabay mga grammatical error or okay ra ba ang sentence or ang spellings ba ano. Let their partners to check their written output. So, as a teachers, we can develop this awareness of the audience readers among our students by engaging them in peer or collaborative writing activities. So we may assign them a peer editing partner or group them in writing activity that requires investigation or research with assigned roles like lead researcher, assistant researcher, and documenter. So the last one we have utilization of technology support. We cannot overemphasize the value of technology in teaching writing. So dili nato ma-overemphasize ang value of technology because our learners now are exposed to multimodal text and they sometimes find the physical act of traditional writing difficult or tiring. So mas prepare nila nga mogamit og internet or mas prepare nila nga mogamit og mga multimodal text. So teachers can allow students to use word processors to deal with illegible handwriting for their learners. So by doing this or by allowing students nga mogamit og mga word processors, so makatabang po ni sa mga student nga sa mga student especially katong mga maot og agi. So mayo sila og idea pero maot sila og agi. So if maot lang agi din dili kay masabtan, di ba? Sa una lang man pagkuha na sa mga audience nila or ilang mga responders nila. Imbes okay rang spelling dito, nya nagtapot ang mga words so mura siya ma-incorrect. So according to Sandolo 2010, citing Karksmer Kellen 2007, claimed that internet writing practices support required curriculum standards. So nag-encourage na siya sa mga students to think about the social implication of their works and helps students learn the literary skills necessary to be successful in 21st century. So ilang gi-claim pod nga ang internet or by editing features of word processors are beneficial for both students and the teachers in monitoring the linguistic accuracy. So ang linguistic accuracy niya ang mga di ba by doing or by mugamit kag internet kanang sa word processor, so mabantayan nimo didto nga naay mga kanang mga incorrect nga spelling or mga or may pong mabasa og balik mga grammatical error. So imo na siyang mag-erase ka, dili siya hugaw kay imo na siyang i-delete, di ba? So social network can be an opportunity for learners to have authentic readers and write interactively. Next, scaffolds in teaching writing. The following templates and suggested strategies can be useful for an engaging writing classroom. So this is teaching writing mechanics. So this is the example, tracing letters, words, and sentences. So let the students nga ilang i-trace ang imuhang trabaho, then gama-gama na lang din sila ilang i-trace, pero by kanang sa scaffolds is imo na silang tuduan or imo silang tuduan nga mao na or imo ba silang ani example ani is kanang gipa-trace niya pero maghimo sila og kanang ilaha pong kaugalingon, dili kay imo silang gitudloan imo na lang permente. So let the student pod nga mo think pod sila, magunana sila, muhatag sila effort silang trabaho na. Then letter recognition, can circle the letters and the differs from the others. So muna silang tutuan asa ni mga ana, then underline the words that have P, match capital letters with lowercase. So the second one, teaching planning in writing. So we can help all learners have a pleasant experience. So mas dali na tong matabangan ang mga atong learners kung naslay experience ana nga task. So they need assistant in choosing the topic. So kita ang ilang assistant. So if them say something about the topic they have chosen. So ato silang paminawon, then finding focus and support to the claims they make. So suportaan nato sila so that may encourage nato sila nga to do their work and making their voice visible in their writing. So kung sila magsulti, ato lang po silang kanang ato silang tubayan, ato silang paminawon kung sakto ba. So ato silang tabangan, masuporta sa ilang gipanghimo, then suggest pud ta kung usay dapat nga ika-suggest na to nga makatabang nila o ma-encourage sila or ma-inspire sila to do their work. But among these stages, it is important to motivate learners to write through the scaffolds that we provide. So, di ba na sila yung mga idea, kay na sila yung mga pleasant experience pa na. But we're going to encourage for mga students ato mga ipang tudlo kay nalisod pod og abi kay kita ang naminaw, kita mo ilang tudloan, so dili po na pwede. Ikaw man ang teacher, ikaw man nag-scaffolds, ikaw man nagtudlo, so tudloan na mo sila or mo suggest lang ka kung unsay dapat sa ilang unsay dapat i-apply sa ilang mga idea kay aron mas ma-present nila ilang idea nga presentable. Pre-writing activities help learners generate ideas. So this include free writing, questioning, clustering, and listening. So free writing is writing without restriction. So free writing, free sila musulat, free ilang express ilang idea, then ilang isulat na. Then writing down everything that comes to mind or feelings about the topic and about act of writing itself. Kung silang naunaan, especially kung na sila experience na ganahan, kaya na sila mulihok dyan na ilahang utok. So that is called free writing. So that's all my part. Thank you.
Good day, everyone. I'm Cherry Deliantes. So, writing. Writing is a challenge because it requires you to have a concise vocabulary, a style that can connect you to your audience, and a language facility to put into words you want to convey. Writing gives you a chance to polish your thoughts and review the details of your arguments. So, writing. Writing is indeed a difficult task. It made you to think critically, or should we say, to brainstorm your topic. If you are not into writing, you will feel bored.
Whenever you start writing, your brain goes blank and you get a mental block. When you write, you will gain knowledge, new vocabulary, a new style that can connect to your audience that you want to convey. You can ask yourself, what is my idea about this subject? Or what is the theme of my topic? So, writing, it can enhance your brain or thought and evaluate the very details of your own arguments. Unlike speaking, writing gives you the power or right to decide to act or whether to pursue or cancel the discussion of the topic you have the initially chosen. Then it is better to consult a book to help you identify the topic you need to include or in your paper. So let's proceed to questioning. It is similar to brainstorming, involves asking questions to generate ideas. So questioning. Questioning from the word question. It means that it involves asking question to have idea. It is like a warm-up exercise of your brain or brainstorming. To explore your topic, the best idea is to use the 5 W's and each. It stands for who, what, when, where, why, and how. For example, when writing about a course, your teacher asks you, why did you choose it? Who influenced you? What benefits it offers? And etc. Clustering. Clustering, this means collecting or grouping together ideas related to chosen topic. Your main topic is written in the center and the supporting ideas will write or branch out in circles or lines like a concept map. Making a list. It helps learners in choosing a topic and narrowing the focus by simply listing all relevant ideas without worrying about the order or importance. It talks about widening your topic and make it broad by simply listing all relevant ideas without worrying about the order or importance. You don't have to worry whether your topic is in order or arranged from start to an end. Gathering information from different legitimate sites without worrying the correct order of your topic. So let's proceed to other planning strategies. For the first one, raft. Raft is developed by Holston and Santa in 1985. It guides students in writing for a specific audience and purpose. RAF stands for the students writers assume rule. A refers to the target audience, and F is for the prescribed or suitable format or genre in writing. And as for the topic, that a topic that needs to be developed or discussed. So, for example, as a student, your role is a mature narrator, and your audience, of course, the teacher and classmate. And the format, personal essay. As for your topic, the spending summer away from the family. For WW plus 2 what and plus 2 how. The letters stand for the following. The who. Who is the main character? Who else in the story? And when. When does the story take place? As for the where does the story take place? And what does the main character want to do? What do other characters want to do? What happens when the main character tries to do it? And etc. And as for the how does the story end? How does the main character feel and how do others' characters feel. So let's proceed to www plus 2 what and 2 how. It developed by Graham and Harris in 2007 for short story writing. The letter stands for the following. The three W stand for who, when, where, why, while the other two are what and how. So this question words are used to gather specific information. It helps informing an open-ended question. As for the strategy, POW plus WWW. What equals to, how equals to. The appropriate grade level is grade 1 to 12. And the procedures and steps, it should be introduce strategies, establish prior performance and set goals. Next, model the strategy and establish self-instructions. Collaborative practice, guided practice, independent performance, and consideration and evaluation. It is a combination and writing strategy in that helps generate ideas and structure of writing. Crow. Based on Tolman's argument model, the Crow, it helps students structure argument clearly using C stands for claim. The claim, it is the writer position or viewpoint. The R stands for reason. It is the justification for the claim. Without reason, your claim is useless or invalid. E stands for evidence. Evidence is a supporting facts or example. And the last one is W, the warrant. It explains and links in evidence to the claim. In addition, using Crow, it helps students to produce a well-structured piece of writing. It presents a clear argument.
So, when we say opinion poll, start by asking students their opinions in a topic that can be argued. This gets them thinking and taking a position. So, model text. When we say model text, give students examples of good writing on the topic. Annotate using Crow. Students analyze the model text, probably using a specific set of guidelines. This helps them understand how to instruct information and form their own arguments. So, stop and there. So, stop and there helps you build a strong persuasive argument. Think of it as a step-by-step guide to make sure your writing convinces your reader. So, the stop and there is a step-by-step guide to make sure your writing convinces your readers. So, S for suspend judgment, T for take aside, O for organize ideas, P for plan more as you write, A for add supporting ideas, R for reject arguments from the other side, E with a conclusion. Last is E or end with a conclusion. So first, let us tackle suspend judgment. So before you start writing, don't just go with your first thought. Research and consider different angles. This helps you avoid making unfair or unsupported statements. So, for example, if you're writing about whether schools should have uniforms, don't immediately say uniforms are bad. Instead, look at the reason for and against uniforms. So, remember, suspend judgment. T for take aside. So, once you've thought about the issue, pick a side you and make it clear. This is your main argument. So, I have here an example, sir.
After researching, you decide that uniforms can help reduce bullying. Your side is school should have uniforms. So remember, take a side. Organize ideas. Arrange your reason in a way that makes sense. Start with your strongest point. So start with your strongest point and arrange your reasons. Like for example, you might start with how uniforms reduce bullying, then talk about how they save parents money. So remember, guys, organize ideas. So plan more as you write. Don't just plan at the beginning. As you write, new ideas might come up. Be flexible and adjust your plan as needed. Remember, plan as you write. Don't just plan at the beginning. So, D4, develop a topic sentence or a thesis statement. So, a topic sentence tells the reader what paragraph is about. A thesis statement does the same for the whole essay. So, I have here an example. The topic sentence for topic sentence. Uniforms can reduce bullying in schools. There's statement, schools should adopt uniform policies because they decrease bullying, save families money, and promote a more focused learning environment. So, remember, develop a topic sentence or a thesis statement. A for add supporting ideas. Back up your claims with evidence, examples, and details. Like, for example, share the statistics about bullying in schools with and without uniforms. So, guys, remember, add supporting ideas. Back up your claims with evidence, examples, and detail. So, R for reject arguments from the other side. So, address what people who disagree with you might say and explain why they are wrong. So, for example, someone might say uniforms limit students' expressions. You could argue that students can still express themselves through other means like extracurricular activities or the PAT-FIT subject for the college students. So, last is end with a conclusion. So, summarize your main point and leave the reader with a final thought. Example, reiterate the benefits of uniforms and encourage schools to consider adopting them. So, remember, end with a conclusion. Don't let your readers confuse what happened next, what is the next, or don't leave them hanging or question their mind what happened. So, those are the stop and there. First, judgment, suspend judgment, take aside, organize ideas, plan more as you write, develop a topic sentence or a thesis statement, add supporting ideas, reject arguments from the other side, and last, end with a conclusion. So, let's proceed. The 5-paragraph essay. So, the 5-paragraph essay is a simple, organized way to present your ideas. It's a good starting point for many types of writing. So, the 5-paragraph essay is the starting point. So, I know a lot of us know what is the 5-paragraph essay because in our senior high school days, we tackled about this in our creative writing subject. Am I right? So, let's proceed. So, paragraph 1 or the introduction. So, in introduction, grab the reader's attention with a question, interesting fact, or anecdote. So, for example, imagine a school where all students feel safe and equal. Could uniforms be the answer? So, in introduction, make your story or your essay interesting so that your readers will 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 feel interested about the the topic or the of your writings. So, thesis statement. State your main argument. So, the thesis statement is belong to the introduction. So, example. While some may argue against them, schools' uniforms offer numerous benefits. So, again, thesis statement is belong to the introduction. So, paragraph 2, 3, and 4 is are the body paragraphs. So, I know you know I know a lot of you know what is body paragraphs. Every day or every essay we we write body par we write body paragraph or body sa of our essay, stories, or and etc. Each paragraph focuses on one specific reason that supports your thesis statement. Start with a topic sentence that introduces the main point of the paragraph. Then, provide evidence, examples, and explanation to support your point. Remember, provide evidence, examples, and explanation to support your point. So, those are the belong of the body paragraph. You should follow or follow that. So next is paragraph 5, which is the conclusion. So in the conclusion, restate your thesis statement in different words, summarize the main points you made in the body paragraphs, leave the reader with a final thought or call to action. So again, don't leave your story without final thought or call to act without final thought, because it makes your readers feel confused, or they have so many questions in their mind. What happened next, or
Lack of understanding.
they can't understand what is your topic is all about, or what is your opinion or ideas of your topic. So leave the reader with final thoughts or call to action.
5 paragraph essay template. First is the introductory paragraph, which begins with a background or a hook. Introductory paragraph. It states that it starts with a background or a hook. A hook is an opening statement or sentences designed to capture the reader's attention and make them curious to continue reading. It serves as engaging to the topic. The hook can be a quote, a question, or an anecdote, or a strong hook is a concise and interesting lead the main idea or the thesis statement. Thesis statement. Thesis statement is a concise of the main argument or topic of an essay or a research paper, typically appearing at the end of the introduction. Second are the 3 developing paragraph, which is the topic sentences that support or develop the thesis statement. Developing paragraph. It is the process of expanding your thesis statement that support evidences, explanation, and example. There are 3 developing paragraph. First, unity. From the word unity, it refers to the focus of idea in sentences and paragraph that work together to make the documents easy to understand. Second is coherence. A coherence paragraph has sentences that logically flow and are clearly connected.
that allowing us to easily follow the writer's thoughts and argument from one sentence to the next without confusion. Third, cohesion. A cohesion paragraph means use of transition word to clarify the connection between idea, to create a smooth flow of ideas from the central topic. For example, Megan will take her driver test next week. Therefore, she plans to spend several hours driving parallel parking and studying traffic regulations. The word therefore in the sentence is a transition word or a linking word. Third is the conclusion paragraph, which is summarizes the key points or restates the thesis statement. The conclusion paragraph. This is the summary of your paper. It includes the key points and also it includes the recommendation of your paper. Is Sinkin, sometimes called a diamond palm. A Sinkin is a poetic genre created by the Adelaide Crapsey. The didactic Sinkin forms variation has become a creative strategy for writing poems with the following formula for poetry writing. Sinkin is a 5-line poem with multiple forms, the most common being the Adelaide Crapsey style. Another common form, the didactic Sinkin, follows a grammatical structure rather than a syllable count.
Variation 1. The first line is one word which is the title of the poem, Castle. The second line contains two words which are adjectives that describe the title, strong, beautiful. The third line has three words, usually grunts, that tell the reader more about the subject of the poem or show action, which is imposing, protecting, and watching. The fourth line has four individual words or fourth word phrase that show emotion about the subject of the poem, which is symbolizes wealth and power. The fifth line is one word synonyms or very similar word to the title, which is faultless. Variation 2. One word title of the poem, which is the star. Two adjectives that describe the first word, which is hot, radiant. Three other modifiers of the first word, all ending in ing, which is shining, burning, exploding. A complete sentence with four or more words gives life to everything. The last is one word, sun.
These poems. This creative writing activity asks learners to list down an inventory or persons, places, objects, or ideas. A list poem or catalog verse is a type of poem organized as a list of words, phrases, or images that build to describe a subject, theme, or idea. Example, I am the teacher. Then I give a task. A task is what's in the bag. A student will explain what are things inside their bag. Suggested prompt. Pick an interesting topic and choose an attractive title for your audience and create a thoughtful list that reveals something about your title. Revise the wording of your list items to make them more vivid or memorable. Suggested prompt. It's like you choose an interesting topic or it is a clear, specific instruction or questions that is useful and relevant response. Writing prompt. A writing prompt is anything that moves the student to write. Writing prompt has two types of prompt, the infinite prompt and the finite prompt. The infinite prompts can be confusing to some students but would be useful for everyday or non-graded writing activities, while finite prompts are less doubting for the students because the goal and expectation are clear. Writing prompt. A writing prompt is a short instruction or topic given to inspire and guide your writing creatively and clearly. It helps focus your idea and gives you a specific task or situation to write about. Writing prompts are the actual task, while suggested prompts are example or idea you can use. So, infinite prompts can be answered in multiple ways. So, infinite is very confusing, kay daghan kaayo siyang answer. Finite prompts. Finite prompts a direct or straightforward response. So, example ani is oral recitation.